up.
And good morning, good day, and good evening, fellow nerds and noobs. Welcome to Coffee with a Gamer on Nerd Revolution Radio. I'm your host, Revolution Phoenix, and it is our good old Art Mondays. We're bringing it back, and we're going to get it into the little bit of science with, what would you say, geology? The good old aluminum. Oh, aluminum. Once rarer than gold. It's a little interesting view that we're going to get into of history as well. So hold on to your butts. I hope you've had a fantastic weekend and doing well and ready to rock and roll into the next bit this week. So without further ado, aluminum. What are the precious metals, not metals? Once aluminum was discovered and isolated by scientists in the mid-1800s, it was still exceedingly rare. So rare that it was deemed one of the precious metals that was extremely valuable. A precious metal is defined as a scarce, naturally occurring metallic element that is as high economic value. At the chemical level, precious metals are less reactive than other elements and tend to be ductile with a high luster. Included in the group of precious metals is what is known as the platinum group. In addition to platinum, these lesser known metals are ruthenium, rhodium, palladium, osmium, and iridium. Most common precious metals are gold, silver, and platinum. While they are certain industrial uses, they are more likely to be found in artistic and decorative pursuits such as jewelry. Let's see, and at a chemical level, precious metals are less reactive than other elements and tend to be ductile with high luster. One reason they became known as precious metals was because they were used in the making of currency. These days, while coins tend to be made from more durable alloys, precious metals are viewed now as investment commodities. Why was aluminum once among these metals? The answer to this question is a simple one. Aluminum was so rare, scarcer than gold, that it was highly valuable. One story that illustrates this concerns the Roman Emperor Tiberius, great guy, when he was gifted a plate made of silvery white metal that he had never seen before. He was so shocked that he ordered the smith who had crafted it to be executed. Tyrants. It's like, no, capitalism doesn't work, but tyranny does. Psychotic tyranny too, nonetheless. All right. This was because he feared that if people learned of this new wonder metal, it would drive down the price of his gold and silver reserves. Another example of aluminum's reputation as a precious metal involves King Christian of Denmark, whose crown was made of aluminum. Napoleon III ate dinner with utensils made of aluminum rather than silver. Even in the 1880s, the Washington Monument was built with an aluminum capstone when the metal was still cost roughly the same as gold. This is because pure aluminum was much rarer than silver and gold. While other precious metals were not very reactive, aluminum was just the opposite. It was highly reactive, and pure aluminum is therefore hard to find. Aluminum ores such as alum and bauxite or bauxite were extremely common, but scientists were unable to reduce them down to elemental ingredients. It took many years and a great deal of effort for metallurgists to isolate aluminum, and even longer to develop an economically feasible process for extracting it for commercial purposes. In the mid-1850s, the annual production of aluminum in the United States was less than 93 kilograms, while the gold production was more than 90,000 kilograms per year. So that right there, fellow nerds and noobs, is quite interesting. It's the point of scarcity and, eye of the beholder, value, need, necessities, you know. How scientists, this is on ClintonAluminum.com. Not going to say anything. When Frederick Wöhler first isolated pure aluminum in 1845, the race to find a commercially viable method of extracting aluminum began. It would take 5 decades before this would take place. 2 different scientists, Paul Héroult and Charles Martin Hall, who independently came up with a similar process at approximately the same time. That's another note too. How humans, there have been time and time again where we have the same inventions being made by different humans around different parts of this rock. It's just it's one of those synergy collectivist mind that we have, the hive mind. We now refer to their discovery as the Hall-Héroult process. First, alumina and aluminum ore must be smelted in a reduction pot lined with carbon. The alumina dissolves into molten cryolite, creating an electrolyte solution through which a direct current is passed at high temperatures. This breaks the bonds between the aluminum and oxygen atoms, and the oxygen becomes bonded with the carbon in the reduction pot, and the remaining molten metal is pure aluminum. The pot must be lined with carbon. That's interesting. The next development that helped lead to aluminum's commercialization was the Bayer process. One of the most common aluminum ores was I gotta look this one up. How to pronounce this? Bauxite? Bauxite? Oh, it is bauxite. Okay, that was close. Yeah, I think I said it right. Bauxite, which was more readily available than alumina, and a method for converting into alumina was the final piece of the puzzle that scientists needed. In this process, bauxite is crushed and ground with caustic soda, resulting in a slurry. This gets put into a pressure vessel, and heated to create a sodium aluminite solution. After several hours, the solution is processed through several flash tanks until it comes to a stop in a settling tank, allowing impurities to be separated. The next tank is for precipitation, and the remaining alumina hydrate gets heated into again to remove the water molecules, leaving only pure alumina, which is now ready for the Hall-Héroult process already described. Very interesting. So this is obviously an aluminum processing plant. That is interesting that aluminum was once more valuable than good old gold and silver. Before 1850 pretty much is when that changed. See, that's the thing too. Even like with petroleum was worthless, before the Industrial Revolution of the combustible engine. I mean, we had it for lamps a little bit, but even then it wasn't much. So what would be the better commodity later? I mean, do you think uranium? I mean, once we start figuring out that, unlimited power with nuclear a little bit more, and uranium, let's see, which one's more abundant? Uranium is, that's what I thought. Okay. So uranium is more abundant in Earth's crust than plutonium. It can be found in concentrations of 2 to 4 parts per million, while plutonium presents a much smaller amount, typically 0.2 parts per million. Yeah. Relatively rare and are typically found in the combination with other minerals. Yeah. Okay. ChatGPT telling us that. Okay, that's good. There you go. So, fellow nerds and noobs, what would you consider a precious metal to you? Isn't it interesting that aluminum, what we use, to cover our food, was once a crown? Aluminum foil, tinfoil hats may be actually the future because, we were actually ahead of the game. We're the kings, us tinfoil hat people. Believing in general that we are nuts, but yeah, we are. We just figured a couple things out before y'all did. Anyway, that'll do it for today. Stay nerdy, stay curious, and remember, life is a balance. Enjoy the ride and rock and roll. And I would definitely always say the value is in the eye of the beholder. Keep what is valuable to you and tradable, that you would consider tradable, that is a medium of exchange for others. So whether it's aluminum or just your liquor cabinet, stay curious, always question, and remember, perspective is the most powerful tool. Stay well, nerdy nerds and noobs. Have a fantastic Monday and talk to you soon. Peace.